So I've been going back over the trailer for Starfield's upcoming DLC Shattered Space, and I think I've worked out exactly what's going on. Now, this is a paid DLC set to release sometime this year on Xbox and PC, and it features new weapons, spacesuit, gear, and an entirely new planet. But where exactly is this planet? The answer is pretty mind-blowing. So I have a theory on how you're going to get there, what you do while you're there, and who these people are. So let's get into it. But before we begin, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Starfield videos. Okay, so the planet Shattered Space takes you to is called Varuun Kai. This is the homeworld of the faction of humans called Varuun, and as we can see, it's full of weird and wonderful wildlife. I say wonderful, they look like they're pretty much trying to tear your face off at all times. The setting also looks much more alien than anything we've seen in Starfield before, which prompts the question, where is this place located? And my theory is that it's not actually located in space at all. It's in a different place entirely, but we'll get to that. First, I just want to eliminate the other possible theories, one of which is that Varuun Kai is located in conventional space, i.e. you access it from the star map we can see in the game already. Maybe Bethesda just adds Varuun Kai into a patch of blank space in the current map and justifies it being unexplored by saying that the Varuun have been able to hide its location somehow. After all, it's not like the planet is a one-off. It actually appears to be part of a system, because we can see other planets and moons in the sky. And space is pretty big. It's plausible there would be a few planets humanity hasn't yet stumbled into. But for me, that doesn't quite answer the question of why everything looks so weird. We have the purple sky, the gravitational anomalies, the weird hologram people. I could go on. The more interesting theory is that this place exists in an alternate dimension, and that explains why no one has been able to find it. To reach this place, I think the Varuun uses this, their citadel. This is a massive space station you come across in the first mission of the DLC. Inside, you find this weird geometric shape that's suspended in midair by chains. This is their grav drive. It doesn't look like a normal grav drive. In fact, it seems to resemble a coiled up snake, which ties nicely into the Varuun belief there's a giant godlike serpent that's going to return and take believers to salvation. They've modeled their grav drive after their god. The grav drive is how the Varuun go back and forth between the space that you're in and their homeworld. The thing is, it is currently broken. These weird black masses are to blame, I think. They've overrun the Citadel and knocked it out of commission. Maybe these masses are an alien species that somehow feeds off the energy from this grav drive, or maybe they're a sort of waste byproduct that builds up after a while. In any case, your first task will be to eliminate these piles of goo and restart the grav drive. This will then allow you to travel to the Varuun homeworld, more specifically its capital city called Dazra. Not everyone is excited to see you, however.
You trespass in the home of House Varuun. Your fate will be decided by the Great Serpent.
In fairness, you have just entered a wormhole and barged right into their sacred planet without invitation, but it also seems that you may be able to help. This place is partially destroyed, and this glowing monolith might have something to do with that. Maybe it's getting bigger and bigger, and the Varuun don't have long until it completely destroys their planet. Now, you might be asking, why don't they simply just move? Well, maybe they're stuck there, given, as we've established, their grav drive doesn't work. If that's the case, how do we explain the Varuun we encounter in our regular dimension? I'm always going to planets and fighting these Varuun zealots. So where are these guys coming from? In the game lore, it's explained that these Varuun have been sent from their homeworld without being given the coordinates for how to get back. They're only told how to return after they complete their mission, and that's how they keep the location of their homeworld completely secret. So it is possible that all the Varuun that we've been seeing in our dimension are simply stuck there. They're not going back and forth between dimensions, their grav drive is broken, which is kind of sad to think about. But anyway, let's focus focus on something else, how do we explain the ghostly hologram? Well, one theory is that they're projections of people who are actually in a different location. And that could be related to what we see at the end, which is this: thousands of pods containing Varuun in cryosleep. You usually enter cryosleep when waiting for something, and in Varuun culture, there's only one thing that they could be waiting for: the return of the Great Serpent. In the meantime, they might be projecting their consciousness into these blue astral forms. It's a solid theory, but one moment dispels all that from the trailer, and it's this spider thing. We see the player shoot it, so it clearly has physical properties. It's not just a hologram. And also, come on, a spider isn't going to be using a hologram to project its consciousness. Maybe the blue holographic effect is nothing more than a technology that cloaks users in a shield or some other sort of buff. But that doesn't explain this individual. We see them at the start of the trailer, and what seems to be happening here is that upon fixing the grav drive, they escape. They look like they've been trapped there for a while, and you've unwittingly freed them. This person, whoever they are, wants you to help them return home and save Dazra. And who I think this is Janan Varuun, aka the founder of House Varuun. He also founded Dazra sometime between 2190 and 2230, so he is a pretty notorious guy. If you needed a little refresher, House Varuun was formed by the passengers of a colony ship that launched from New Atlantis in 2190 and was later reported lost. During one of the grav jumps, a passenger named Janan Varuun claimed to have communed with a celestial being calling itself the Great Serpent. The Great Serpent apparently said it created the Milky Way, then entered hibernation to recover its strength. Now, after countless millennia, it wants to reclaim its creation, and only its loyal disciples will be permitted to survive. In other words, it's going to eat everything unless you believe in it. At least that's what Janan says. So he spread the Great Serpent's teachings and gathered as many followers as he could. In 2240, Janan declares an all-out war on the rest of human civilization, which he calls the Serpent's Crusade. This conflict ends in 2263 when Janan dies, which leads to the question: how is he in the DLC if he's no longer alive? Well, the theory is that he's a Starborn that has become trapped between dimensions and turned into pure energy. He'll be our guide to this DLC, explaining the ways of the Varuun and justifying some of their more fanatic behavior. From what he says in the trailer, he does sound like a bad guy, but I think the whole point of the DLC is to introduce us to the Varuun as a morally complex faction. It's not really Starfield's style to just say they're out-and-out baddies. It will give them some kind of morally grey value. It also appears as if Janan is going to unlock a new Starborn power for us by merging with us. He says,
"There is no more you, only us."
This implies a cooperation of sorts, like turning into a spectral form to solve puzzles. Maybe he's even a new companion for us. Having a morally grey companion would be exciting, especially compared to the goody two-shoes companions we are stuck with in the main game. I want a companion who cheers me on when I steal stuff and doesn't judge me. The final question I want to answer is, who are in these pods? For me, I think it's the elites of Varuun society. They were forewarned of the disaster and froze themselves in an impenetrable bunker. And I cannot be the only one who sees the similarities with another Bethesda game here. They're likely frozen so they can come back when the Great Serpent returns. In the end of Shattered Space, I think we'll decide what to do with these inhabitants of the pods. And that's why I think the DLC will make the Varuun sympathetic. That will make the choice at the end of this DLC extra hard from a moral standpoint. Anyway, those are my theories on Shattered Space, but let me know yours. And if I'm wrong about anything you've just heard, feel free to correct me down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and also subscribe to this channel for more Starfield guides.
Circling your heart, constricting until there is no more you. Only us.